Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Cindy Rivera, and I'm actually doing a series on overcoming anxiety. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The name of this episode is Casting Down Thoughts and Images. I wanted to start off by reading 2 Corinthians 10:4-7. And it says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ, and being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled." I wanted to start off with this verse because I wanted to remind you that you are able to cast down everything and anything that comes to your mind that isn't God. The enemy doesn't have to tell you how to think. And if you didn't know, the enemy can't even read your mind. The only one who can read your mind is God himself. If you read 1 Kings 8:39, at the ending of that verse it says, "Since you know their hearts, for you alone know every human heart." And of course the Bible makes references to the mind and the heart as one. They're connected, right? So only God can know your heart and your mind. Satan doesn't know what's going on inside of you. But he can throw things at you so that he can see a reaction out of you. And that's exactly what the enemy does. He throws things at us, right? The Bible talks about these flaming arrows that the enemy throws. And just like a little kid, he's looking around to see what reaction he'll get out of us. And of course, if he sees that he's being effective, he'll continue with his attacks in the same way. But if he sees that he's not getting a reaction out of you anymore because you're not making agreement with these lies, he's eventually going to stop, or he will eventually minimize his attacks on you and move on to something else, because his goal is always to get a reaction. So if he's not getting a reaction from somewhere, he's going to go somewhere else. I've talked about this before, but a good way of casting down imaginations and bringing thoughts captive is by doing the following. One, when that image or thought come, rebuke it immediately. Don't make agreement with it. Don't ponder on it. Don't sit on it. Don't think, wait, did I think that? No, like, if it's not encouraging, it's not God. You rethink or you imagine whatever it is that came to your mind through God's eyes, because this brings you back into the reality instead of keeping you in that place of lies. For example, if you get a thought of like, you're stupid, you get that thought, obviously that's not God. God would never say that to you. So you rebuke it and you rethink that. No, I am. What did God say about you? I am special. I am wonderfully and fearfully made. Declare and think intentionally what God has already said about you. Now, when you see images, again, you rebuke them and then you rethink something else in God's perspective, through God's eyes. For example, there were moments where I was going through very severe anxiety where I would see real images in my mind of me being in a mental institution, being strapped up in an all-white room, and my husband visiting me like from far away. Like, those are the kind of thoughts that would come to me, and the images were so clear. It felt so real. It felt like, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen to me. And there were moments where I would sink into those lies and believe them, and it felt terrible, and more panic attacks would come because of that place of just staying there. And then I learned that I can begin to cast these down and reimagine what I was seeing in my mind. So I began to rebuke it and think differently. I would literally see myself walking to the altar, living together, having a good time together, ministering to people together. I would literally rethink and reimagine things that came to my mind. And it wasn't easy at first because I was so used to thinking a certain way. But the more I did it, the more easier it became. And more easier and more easier. And I literally had to take a small step forward every single day. And eventually I got to a place where when the thoughts and images came to my mind from the enemy, they couldn't hurt me anymore, because I was like, okay, like, I rebuke you. I know that's not God. And my mind would already start to think differently because I was building new neural pathways. So I want to encourage you today to do that for your life. And remember, not every single thought that comes to your mind is from God or even from you. And something else that I learned, and a lot of what I'm mentioning today, Kris Vallotton has already actually mentioned in a lot of his teachings, but this is a key thing that I've learned from him, and it's this. When you're getting attacked with all these things, refrain from saying things like, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? Like, what's going on with me? Like, things like that. Because the enemy will take advantage of that. When you remember, he looks for a reaction. So once he sees you say that, he's like, oh, okay, she thinks this is her, so I'm gonna keep, or him, so I'm gonna keep striking and striking and striking. Refrain from saying those things. Those images and thoughts that you're seeing are not from you. They're from the enemy. He's trying to put them on you and make you believe them so that you can submit to them and live in that place of torment and lies. But you do not have to. So I really hope that this video is encouraging to you and that it's helpful to you. It's very informative and something actually very powerful that I use in my life and has helped me so much. So I bless you. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you soon.